Alright, ayo, dear gang, what is going on today? So, today well, as you've read by the title, it is about the most recent Doctor Who episode. And let me just say, that was fantastic. Well, I mean, obviously there are points in which it could be updated, so I'm just trying to sort something out here. There are points in which the episode could have done a bit better, maybe. But yeah, it was fantastic. It was a fantastic setup for next week's episode, for the season finale, episode 8, Empire of Death. But without any further ado, let's get straight into my review on The Legend of Ruby Sunday. To start with, The Legend of Ruby Sunday. Let's start chronologically, or maybe. The opening, it took you right into the episode, no messing around, and yeah, it took you. It basically just started the episode quick, no messing around, no messing around from the previous episode, Rogue, which was all right for me, wasn't the best. Maybe it's because I don't really like. I ain't watched Bridgerton or anything. But Legend of Ruby Sunday to start with, starts brilliant. At least near on, I'd say a good 9 out of 10 start. It was quite fast paced for a start of an episode, yeah. But personally, that's good. But somewhere I would improve on is I just wish there was a bit more like Doctor Ruby time in the TARDIS, so making the most of the set. I mean, we obviously got in the 60th, we did get in the Star Beast, we did get David Tennant running around the set, showing us the entire set. But I just wish there was just a bit more. It's such a good TARDIS set, such a huge one as well. And I just wish we kind of expanded on that and, just used it a bit more. But yeah, other than that, Kate Stewart in the open, brilliant. I love to see that that officer again, who was in the 60th as well. Yeah, he just seems to be like, your chill officer. And I do like how we're getting, officers and the actual soldiers as like three-dimensional characters, so they actually have a personality rather than just kind of being there. And we do know that because RTD has done that in the past. Martha's a bit different, but he's done it in the past. Yeah. Now, the TARDIS does swoop in, and we do get to see Rose Noble again. I will get on to the Nobles in just a bit. This video ain't going to be that long. But yeah. Now, before we go any further, let's just make sure you have subscribed and left a like on the video. And put in the comments below what your predictions are for the final episode of this season, The Empire of Death. Right. So, the Doctor does jump straight into the action when he gets into the unit tower, and that's another thing. I've really looked that in the opening scene, that medium shot of the London where unit towers. It really made me think of Avengers Tower, and how they always did like the medium shots of New York. It does just make me because I'm a Marvel fan as well. But yeah. So, the Doctor instantly wants UNIT's help. And things like that. Who is Susan Twist's character, Susan Triad? Now, there were theories and lots of these theories came out to be true. Now, let's just jump straight into them now. So, one of the theories was she could be Susan Foreman. That was sort of confirmed. Now, they did build on that theory. And they built on that theory with another theory of Susan Triad being something related to the TARDIS, seeming as S Triad is an anagram of TARDIS. So UNIT basically did what all the fans did, and well, they unscrambled the letters and found it was an anagram of TARDIS. So they're keeping an eye on Susan Triad. So basically they did what the fans did. But I'd really liked how loads of these fan theories throughout the week and throughout the fandom have actually became true in a way. Now, we did suspect, like I said, Susan Triad, played by Susan Twist, could be Susan Foreman. Now, I didn't want that to be true, because Carol Ann Ford is still alive currently. And to be honest, I think if Susan Foreman was to come back, she is the only actress to play her. Now, as we progress through the episode, the Doctor is led to believe, because of the anagram TARDIS, so TARDIS technology, and because of the name Susan, that the Susan Triad is Susan Foreman. But as we find out later in the episode, she's not. She's just then we're led to believe just a normal businesswoman, just, making her way through the business, business territory. But no, we'll get to who she is later on. So, now, we did also sort of return back to the church on Ruby Road. Sort of, I say. They used a time window, which I think was used in the Sarah Jane Adventures. And this is what I love. It's the links to this is what RTD is good at. He's good at linking the main show to other shows. Like, back in his first era, it was Torchwood and Sarah Jane Adventures. But yeah, I just love how there's all these callbacks to the Sarah Jane Adventures. Rest in peace, Elizabeth Sladen. She would have done really good in this episode, and no doubt she would have been in the 60th and in these episodes and with UNIT and everything if she was still around with us today. Just rest in peace, Elizabeth Sladen. So, there were other theories on Susan Triad could have been a living embodiment of the TARDIS. So far, that isn't confirmed as of yet. I doubt it. I doubt she is. But we'll get on to who she is confirmed to be later. So, with this, you next had the Doctor wanting to also find out who Ruby's mother was, because that was another mystery he came to UNIT about, and as UNIT already was keeping an eye on Susan Triad, the Doctor wanted to find out who Ruby's mother was. So they used this time window, which I thought is very cool, and the visual effects were just so good. I'm so glad, because this season was meant to come out in January, February time, but I am so glad they pushed it back until May, June. I know it affected me with my exams, but it was just so compared to what Doctor Who was literally a few years ago, not even 10 years ago, literally about 3 years ago, not even that, 2 years ago. it's just such a big step up, and we'll get to more visual effects later on. So, we do know sort of Ruby's mother well. So, they used the time window to go back to the church on Ruby Road to try and find out who Ruby's mother was. Now, keep in mind, in between these two scenes, you did have a scene with Carla Sunday and Sherry Sunday and Mrs. Flood. Because that's when they went to go get this VHS tape, which they used for the time window. Now, this scene further brought up the question, who is Mrs. Flood? Now, there are many theories. Sorry, this video is way too long. But there are many theories. Now, I'll get onto them after I've said who Susan Triad is. So yeah, they go back to Unit Tower, to the time window, use all that, and they go back to the church on Ruby Road. Now, the Doctor and Ruby have to stay still, otherwise it could still change the course of events. But, you know, the Doctor being the Doctor, wanting to find out because someone saw something, was that, I think it was the officer. He sent the officer to look around. And knowing the time window, it does in theory send you back to that actual time. So anything, any sudden movement, even a move of a leaf, well, maybe that's a bit too far-fetched, but even a move of a leaf could ripple through time. But so this officer goes round, looks around, but nothing there. Now, we still don't know who Ruby's mother is. It's still just a cloaked figure. There are theories that Ruby's mother or mother could be the trickster. Now, I don't think it'll be the direct trickster, because a trickster is a male. It's a male like embodiment. So, and I think it's quite clearly the body shape of the hooded figure is feminine. So yeah, I don't think it could be the trickster. I would love it to be the trickster, because I would love to see the trickster go up against this person I'm going to speak about in a second, whoever S Triad is. But I doubt it is the trickster. Now, he did get a name mention, so let's hold out hope. But yeah. So, we still don't know who Ruby's mother is. My theory, it could be a female version of the trickster. That would be actually quite cool to see, but I think it would just ruin the male. It would just ruin the normal version of the trickster. So maybe that theory needs to go to rest. But I personally think it could be Ruby Sunday herself, because it would kind of make a bit of I'm not sure a paradox, but Ruby dropping off Ruby, and then she points at the Doctor, because she already knows that the Doctor picks up from this time window. The Doctor picks up Ruby, and everything like that. So there's a possibility. There's a distinctive possibility. Hooded figure is Ruby Sunday, or it could be Mrs. Flood, or someone else. Now, let's just get on to the juicy bit of this episode. Let's get on to the good bit, because we are just waffling on a bit. Let's go on to the good bit. So, after all that, the Doctor does go to see Susan Triad, because he thinks she is Susan Foreman, which we are led to believe. Now, I believed that in the episode. I was hyped to think, oh, is this Susan Foreman? Are they finally getting their long return? But no. It didn't turn out to be that. It turned out to be Susan Triad was not an anagram of TARDIS, even though it probably Unit thought it was, and the fan base thought it was. S Triad was an anagram of Sutekh, the classic villain, the classic god Sutekh is back. Now there's very good ups with this, but there are very low lows. So we'll start off with the negatives, with the lows, so you can forget them. Problem of bringing a huge villain like Sutekh in the penultimate episode of the season is you've got one episode to wrap everything up. And with a huge villain, it's not like Davros in The Stolen Earth and Journey's End. It's not like Davros where he's returned thousands of times. Sutekh has only been in the so far I know from the classic seasons once, or in like a little serial. Now I do place hope in Russell T Davies with Sutekh. I didn't watch the original. I didn't watch the classics yet, but I have seen clips of it, and Sutekh seems to be really powerful. And even from and we know from the 6th of how powerful the Toymaker was, well, until the last 5th of the episode. But yeah, we know how powerful the Toymaker was against the 14th Doctor. But that is... And the Maestro was quite powerful as well. I'd say a bit less powerful than the Toymaker, but they were still powerful. Maestro was powerful. And I did love the thing of Harriet, the person in UNIT, being a harbinger. Now, I feel like I recognise the actress. I think she was the actress who played Archie in Casualty many years ago. Not even that many years ago, about 6 years ago. So yeah, it was a delight having her on Doctor Who. But I think now a harbinger is like the warning sign for a god. Because every time a god's been present, there's been a harbinger present in some form. I'm not sure about the Toymaker, but obviously we know by the Maestro there was that kid who was a harbinger. I can't remember his first name, but yeah, there's always a harbinger present when a god is going to appear. And I loved the last 5 minutes of build up to find out that Sutekh was the villain of this season is good. But yeah, back to the lows. I think they've got one episode to wrap everything up. Otherwise, I really hope like Sutekh goes, like something happens, but he's not dead or he's not like gone. Like, it's not like the Daleks, you can just bring him back whenever you like, or the Cybermen, or the Sontarans, or the Weeping Angels, or something like that. Sutekh is a god, and he is going up against the Doctor. And to be honest, in my opinion, not even one of the most powerful Doctors. So, now, that's basically my only downside. Oh, and I'm a bit confused with this, because you had this weird monster thing round the TARDIS. Now, is that... I believe that is Sutekh, not the Susan Triad. I think that Susan Triad is the messenger of Sutekh, but sort of similar like to Mouth of Sauron in Lord of the Rings. But it doesn't really, from what I've seen from the classic Sutekh, it doesn't really look like how Sutekh is, who Sutekh is. But we'll just have to wait and see for the Empire of Death. Now, I think all hopes for the Daleks or any other returning villains are gone. But you never know. You never know, they might pull a 180 and do something with Sutekh to bring Daleks back, which would be very bad. But now here comes the very high highs. Sutekh being the villain has put the stakes for Empire of Death goddamn high. Now that could be taken in either way, but I'm going to take it as the high. It's going to be good. because it actually puts a threat towards 15th Doctor. And if anything in this season, there's not been a threat. The only threat has really been the Maestro, but even then, the Doctor sort of beat the Maestro very easily. Now, I really hope they don't do this with Sutekh, but we just gotta wait and see. And yeah, and just his facial expression, just his Ncuti Gatwa's performance in knowing that Sutekh is this powerful god, knowing that probably he's released him, that's good. Now, there will be another theory video out during the week about how Sutekh has returned. This is very much just a quick little breakdown of the episode, this video. But I really do hope that Sutekh isn't just a wasted villain. It is in cinemas next week. Unfortunately, I'm not going to see it at the cinema because it is at bloody midnight. Well, I think 11 o'clock. It's at 11 o'clock, but it doesn't finish till 1. So, hence why, and obviously the place I live is not the safest, well, not at midnight. But yeah, so I'll just be watching at home on my TV, in the comfort of my house, let's hope. So I really do hope Sutekh does bring out to be a really good villain. But my theory is, where is the 14th Doctor in all this? And Donna? Like, you got literally this universe level threat. And let me guess, the 14th Doctor's just kind of like, oh yeah, this guy's feet up with good old... So left Wilfred Mott alive. Thank the Lord. Thank you, Russell T Davies. I did not want to see Wilfred die. I'm so glad they left him alive. But the Doc's probably just off shooting moles with Wilfred, isn't he? He's seen all this sand and dust around, and yeah, he knows my other half is dealing with it. I do just kind of want like a mention of the 14th Doctor in the finale. I doubt it's going to happen. We have got a mention of Donna, but we haven't got a mention of the 14th Doctor. Now, I am going to wrap this video here, and there will be another... Now I've finished my exams, there will be another theory video for the finale later on in the week. Maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday. Who knows? Let's just see how this goes. The hype is real for Empire of Death. And until... I know this has been a long video, but until next time, make sure you like and subscribe. And let's all hope you all tune in at midnight or at 6:30 for The Legend of Ruby Sunday, and next week for the Empire of Death. So until next time, peace out.